I'm so glad to see everyone's face, our first luncheon of 2022, so welcome. And I would like to introduce our speaker today, Dave Tina. He is the founder and broker of Urban Nest. So Dave, if you could come on up here.
Visionary for sure. All right. Let's test this out. Is it better if I just talk to you?
Yeah.
Without this?
Yeah, no, maybe. No,
It sounds pretty good.
Sounds all right? All right. So I'm going to walk.
Awesome.
I was going to go a cappella. So you may be wondering why I came up with this title. And Courtney reached out and she was like, what do you want to call it? And I thought about it for a minute. And I didn't want to be just another realtor. You ever hear that? Like, we're all so ubiquitous sometimes, right? Just another realtor. So I said, let's do something different. Let's push a little bit. Scared money don't make money. I put doesn't because I didn't want any of you to say I wasn't being grammatically correct. Because I know somebody who've been like, owner of the company, he doesn't know how to spell, he doesn't know how to do this. So what does this mean? Scared money doesn't make money. It means, are you scared? Are you feel uncomfortable right here?
Not at all.
It means this. You have to get uncomfortable all the time. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because without that, you cannot grow. The greatest irony of life is that the biggest risk you could take is taking no risk. And I think about realtors all the time, because that's what I do. I live it, I breathe it, it's in my DNA. But I'm observant, I watch everybody. And you ever notice that the people who market the most are the ones that are doing the most business? Where do they get that mindset? Where does it come? They just go. And I think it comes down to more than just having money to do it. There's a psychology around marketing. There's a psychology around investing in your number one asset. What is your number one asset in life? You. But yet we don't treat ourselves like the number one asset. We don't invest in ourselves. We'll invest in other people. We'll spend money on things that don't serve us. So I was thinking, how do I get you guys to take a hard look at not only your business but your life and say, where do I have to go all in? Where do I have to commit to myself even deeper? That's what this is about. Because the average agent makes what? 40 grand a year? 38? It's the truth. Look up the NAR stats. And the average agent is spending less than $5,000 a year on marketing. So I don't find it a surprise, that that's the average amount. So then what do you do? How do you get leverage on yourself? How much should you be spending on your marketing? What should you be doing? There's so much noise in the marketplace. And we're like squirrel, shiny object. Realtors are the worst. The worst. You do everything other than what you need to do for marketing. So I want you to take 2022. I'm going to give you a couple of things that I would do if I were you. If I gave up being an owner of a company, I gave up being a broker, what would I do? Now, I have a team, so I know what I'm doing. But what would I be telling you if I could only do two things? So I also want you to think about the scariness of just going. For instance, if there's a time where you feel like you have to market something, but the amount of money you have to spend, the amount of risk, the amount you have to be uncomfortable is pushing you and you don't want to do it, what is going to make you to go? How are you going to get leverage on yourself? So there's this thing I do, and I'm going to need, Georgia, can you help me out? Come over here. This is how it goes. Now, before we do this, there's 1.5 million realtors in the United States. In the next 24 months, a tremendous portion are going to retire and be done. Another, that's exactly how you should be thinking. Another portion is not going to make it. 88% don't make it in the first 3 years. If you make it past the first 3 years, you could at least have a decent career for the rest of your life. You could just show up and market like every other realtor. You know how most realtors market? They wait for the phone to ring and pray. Maybe this year I'll do 5 deals because my phone rang five times. Next year I do 18 deals. It was a good year for my phone ringing. And then they wonder why it's up and down. So this is what I want you to think about. Because in 2 years, where are you going to be? Are you going to be part of the 20% or less that actually thrive? Or are you going to be part of the 80% that can't handle when it's winter? So this is the mentality of you realizing that you're your number one asset and that every single time you have to double down on yourself, triple down on yourself when it's the most scary. That's when you go. So let's say Georgia and I are 2 realtors. Stand next to me. And the first opportunity to take a risk and change our business, push ourselves a little bit, maybe do video on social media. Sorry, that's the way you look. That's just the way it is. Right? It's okay. Everyone looks at you every day. So you go, okay, you were going to do social media. And Georgia goes, you know, I'm not sure. And she steps to the side. So step to the side. She hesitates. And I take a step forward. Now, mind you, she didn't even take a step back. She just hesitated. Right? Now she's like, all right, let me call my sphere. Great. We both take a step forward. Okay? Then I'm going to spend money on Client Giant. She says too much money. I could do it myself. Doesn't do it. Take a step to the side. I take a step forward. Do you see now what's happening? The gap between her and I is growing, and she hasn't even taken a step back. All she has merely done is hesitated, and when it got uncomfortable, rather than going, she blinked. She didn't take that window of opportunity to go through, right? And this keeps going, thank you, Georgia, to the point where the gap is almost too much to catch up on. And then you start getting in your brain, should have, I could have. I should have invested for myself and not just my clients. I should have bought all the houses. I should have got a couple of Bitcoin. I should have done some flips. I should have marketed. I should have all over myself. Right? So here's the thing though. This game is a two-part game. It's not just you versus the other realtor. It's you on who you could become versus who you are. And the more you don't listen to that voice inside that's saying go, and the other voice that's listening is scared to go, and you're having that struggle inside, the less you listen to that, the more the gap of who you are versus who you could become happens. And that's why scared money doesn't make money. You've heard, you got to spend money to make money. Yes. But what energy are you bringing to it? Are you bringing energy of abundance, or are you bringing energy of scarcity? Are you bringing energy of gratitude about what you actually did, or are you living in resentment of what you decided not to do? That's why I started with that first line. So when you're thinking about it, like, should I do this? And something inside is knocking on that door inside of your brain going, go, go. And you're trying to sedate it. You're trying not to listen to it. Maybe I'll have a drink. Maybe I'll watch some Netflix so I don't have to hear. Not against drinking. I love drinking. I'm just saying, you're sedating. You're not listening to the voice to just go. And then you're like, man, I should have listened. I should have listened to myself. The voice is not lying to you. It's telling you, just go. Are you going to listen? That's the question. Okay, so let's talk about 2 things that I would do. Now, you're realtors. So if I use the same wording for things, the minute I say it, you'll turn your brain off and go, oh, I've heard that all before. All right? The fundamentals, make your calls, relationship-based business, social media. You've heard all that. You heard it all. So I'm going to reframe it for you. There's two things you need to do no matter what to invest in yourself to market. Okay? Number one, date your business. Fall in love, baby. Date your business. Think about this for a second. I'm going to give you some stats. Okay? 98% of all real estate transactions are done by all of you. So, that feeling of we're getting pushed out, realtors are not here for the future, that's not true. We're almost involved in every single transaction out there. 90% of people who use a realtor would use their realtor again. I'm surprised by that, because I wouldn't use a lot of people again. No offense. Not people in this room, of course. But think about that. So for all the things we hear about, oh, we're used car salesmen, we're the worst, right? 90% approval rating to a degree. So 9 out of 10 people would use you again. And only 10% do. Only 1 out of 10 do. You want to know why? Because we don't love our people. And if you don't date your business, somebody else is going to date them for you. So there's great opportunity for you to jump in and get other people's business just by loving them more. That's all. 76% of people use the first realtor they come in contact with. Imagine we did that in real life. You're the first person I met. We're getting married. That's it. So, is that not insane? So, here's the thing. How do we correctly date somebody?
Court them.
Court them. Yes, make them feel special. Stay in front of them. That is why all the other things. So I could say to you, you need a CRM. But everyone heard of a CRM. And then you start thinking, which one should I use? And then you start beating yourself up. You start beating yourself up. I don't have a CRM. It's on the back of a letter that I got in the mail, junk mail, like my dad used to do it back in the 90s, right? But I've reframed it for you. It's no longer a CRM. You know what CRM stands for? Cash Ready Machine. Cash Ready Machine. But you have to fill that CRM up like an ATM. You got to get the money in it. And the only way you get that money in it is if you get your top 100 people you want to date, right, that you want to love, and you get them in there and you love them. Because then, once you take care of it, your cash ready machine, you're the one who has the pin. And once you have the pin and you put it in the machine, you know what comes out? Money. So, you're not looking at it as relationship-based business anymore. What are we doing? We're dating our business. We're loving them the whole way. We're not looking at it as a CRM. We're looking at it as a machine that prints cash. Prints cash. And you have the ability to fill it up with cash. It's insane. So, how do we do that? How do we love our people? Well, what do you do when you're dating somebody? What? What? Say it again? Wine. So you date them, you take them out. Should you be taking your people out to coffees and small dinners and having events? Yes. What else do? We call them. Shouldn't you be calling and texting your significant other? Hey, baby. No. Thinking about you. Right? Personal notes. Hey, who doesn't like when their significant other doesn't just get the card, but takes the left hand of the card and writes something really special and heartfelt? Who doesn't like that? Who has kept a card like that in their life? Why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you do it for your people? for your clients. Everything I'm talking about applies to how you should be taking care of your people. Love them. Now here's a distinction. You can't fake it. I'm going to write a book one day, and it's going to be called Just Give a Shit. Because if you truly do, you can't fake it. When you write the card and they see your handwriting, which is truly an extension of who you are, and what you put in that card, not, oh, I'm always here for your business. No, I'm always here for you. You cannot fake that. If not, then they're going to see right through it. So you must commit to showing up for people at the highest level. Because if you're memorable, they'll always remember you. That's why attractive people do well in real estate. It's the truth. Studies show attractive people do better in business and life because they're memorable. People don't forget them. Did I mention that 76% of people will forget your name within a year? Within a year. That's not memorable. You didn't date them good. They remember your name. So, that's step one. So you got to date your business, top 100, sort and qualify, pick the people you're going to love the most, and serve them at the highest level, and date them. Because if not, there is 10 realtors for every person. They know everybody. And what will happen is, they'll be ready to buy, and they'll forget about you, and you'll be in front of me, and I'll use you. And you're like, I did everything right. No, you didn't. Okay? All right. Second part. You have to commit to creating social media content. Not doing social media. Creating content. Right now, I have a marketing team. They're going to take this. Hopefully they can get a minute of good stuff out of it. And they will disperse it and deploy it into multiple spaces. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Scared money doesn't make money. Scared actions, right? Now listen, I've done this a long time. I've been a president. I've talked in front of 1,000 people. You still get nervous. You do. But you got to go anyway. You got to take the next step. It's easy to just say, forget it. I'm not doing it. It's easy to not listen to the voice, but you got to go. So, here's how it works with social media creating content. You're going to get overwhelmed by the amount of platforms out there. Which one do I pick? Which one do you pick? No right answer. No right answer. Personally, me, TikTok. You got to be on TikTok. It's not just for dancing. So here's the thing. If I took all of your phones and looked at your social media platforms, right? I could tell who you are. Because what you see on social media is a reflection of who you are. So if your social media is making you feel like crap, you better change what you follow, what you post, and what you're engaged in. Right? Social media needs to be used as a tool, not to use you. You need to be a creator more than a consumer. Every time you start to sedate, say to myself, I cannot be scrolling through social media without creating at least one piece of content. Don't overdo it. You got the best phone, you got the best camera in your pocket, it's your phone. Sometimes we have more camera issues, lighting issues, volume issues on all the nice stuff than I do on my own iPhone. Your Pro Max 13 is golden. Okay, TikTok, Insta, Facebook. Now, what's the granddaddy of them all? YouTube. All roads lead to YouTube. So this isn't a social media class, but it is an introduction. You do the smaller stuff on the 3 platforms I told you. It links back to YouTube. Okay? Now, you all knew what I just told you. Here's the difference. Why are people going to watch your content other than somebody else's? Why? 2 reasons. 1, consistency. The biggest problem with all marketers, which all of you are marketers, is that you give up way too fast. If you're going to commit to a marketing thing in 2022, I want you to commit to the entire year. So if you're going to send out a mailer, if you're going to do phone calls, if you're going to have appreciation events, if you're going to post on social media, get your plan and stick to it. Have faith in the process. Trust the process. Because what's going to happen is you're going to start off strong, and then nothing's going to happen and you're going to give up. Because you're looking for a return of investment that's not going to happen immediately. So no matter what you do, burn the boats and pay for the entire year up front. Even if it stretches you. Because scared money what?
Don't make money.
Doesn't make money. Then, so consistency is number 1. And I'm saying just a year. You should commit to even further. It's not all going to work. Your ROI on everything's not going to be perfect. But it all plays a part. Okay, second part. The way you deliver a message. Who you show up. Does anyone follow me on social? Okay. At David Julius Tina, just in case you were wondering. So, here's the thing. You have to be committed to being the realest person in the room. 88% of all media consumed in 2022 will be video. It's not too late, but soon it's going to be too late. You have to be creating content. If you want to make it easy, just do an Instagram story and share it to Facebook every single day. We do a 75-day challenge. No, 75 hard. I changed it. 75-day challenge for social media. You do it 75 straight days of video on social media. I don't even care if you jump the shark and say, Dave made me do it. This is day 1 of 75. Fine. Let him in on the secret. You'll get reps and you'll learn. You'll get comfortable. Because you don't wake up day 1 good at it. You got to put in the work, right? So here's something that I'm very passionate about. The number 1 currency for the 21st century, moving forward, is what? Let me get some guesses. Crypto, okay, what else? Data, maybe, big data. Here's what I'm going to tell you it is. The number 1 currency moving forward is going to be the ability to communicate a message. People are desperate for connection. People feel more alone than they ever have in the history of the world. They are dying for someone to come through the screen or in person and connect in a real way. To be vulnerable, to be real. To cut through the noise. There's so much noise that people are just dying to connect. If you could do that through social and be very vulnerable and talk about anything, you will win. The most powerful person in any room is the one with nothing to hide. So, I would challenge you to get very real.
Accept it.
What?
I said I accept your challenge.
Okay, we got one acceptance right here. Beautiful. All right, and now, so we talked about the what, we talked about the how. Now here's the last part. You're going to be like, Dave, you talked about a lot of high-level things. You gave me perspective and clarity on why I need to get past my fears on scared money, why I need to market. Dave, you gave me 2 reasons how to market. Date your business, content creation on social. Trust me, those 2 alone you'll spend a ton of time on and spend a lot of money. Those are very broad subjects. But how do you shorten the distance to where you want to go? So the bonus is, hey, hire a coach, And here's what the coach could be. You could hire Coach Google. You could hire Coach YouTube. There's endless amounts of information. Or you could do these three things. Seek out a mentor. A mentor who has done what you want to do. There's a lot of fugazis out there who have never sold a real estate transaction in their life, but they got 3 million followers on TikTok. Fugazi is fake in New York Italian. So seek out a mentor that has the results you want. Now where you don't seek out a mentor is in your bullpen, because they're seeking out a mentor too. And now the two of you are just in trouble. So whether it's your broker, your owner, a realtor, and here's the thing, guys. A lot of you don't want to be on teams. You don't want to give up your commissions to be on a team. Well, maybe it's time to humble yourself a little bit and get an internship from somebody who's actually walking the walk. Get your education. Put in your couple of years and learn. And be open and vulnerable about it with your team leader. It's a trade-off. I'm going to work hard for you, but I want to learn everything. But you got also not be scared. So, when you think about this, first, seek out the mentor. Second, invest in whatever that mentor is providing. So if the mentor is Coach Google, sign up for Google classes. Spend money. If the mentor is a coach, pay for the coach. If a mentor is a team leader, give up part of your splits. Work for $50 a showing. Get hungry. Show me someone who's hungry. I'll take someone who's hungry any day of the week because I know they're not going to come up with excuses. They're going to come up with reasons why they want to succeed. What can I learn next? So, seek out a mentor with results. Invest in everything that mentor can give you. And then lastly, become their #1 student. If you're in a group of 20 people, or you're at a company of 400, you say, no one is going to outwork me. I'm going to be the #1 student. I am going to absorb every single thing this person it gives me. And sometimes, even if you don't like the person, focus on the message, not the messenger. You can still learn from someone you don't like. There's quite a few of those to go around, right? Okay, so we talked about the what, the why, and the how. So I hope you have a lot. So I always forget, I always jumble up this quote, but it's one of my favorites. How am I doing on time?
You're doing good.
All right, well, I'm going to bring it home, and if you have questions. Here's the thing. When it is scariest to jump, that is exactly the moment you have to jump. Otherwise, you're going to end up living the same life over and over again. And you're not going to go anywhere. And that's not good enough for me. And I hope that's not good enough for you. So thank you for your time. I appreciate everything. What?
Do you have time for questions?
Sure. Any questions? So make sure to follow me. I have a lot of free content. My passion is to give. The way I always say is the training is free, the accountability you have to pay for. Because if I'm going to give you a little kick in the ass, you got to give me permission first. So any questions? You good? All right. Oh, Christina.
So I'll just throw myself under the bus. I feel like I want to do your challenge, and I feel like so many of us, I don't know, maybe it's just me, I feel like I'm not that important, I'm boring. Why do I want to get on social media every day to talk about what? I guess I struggle with, oh, look at me, you know, I try to be a humble person, I am a humble person, and I get a lot of business from my referrals, and I don't want them to think that, I don't know, that's my struggle.
Yep.
So how do you get over that? When you're trying to think of content, I feel like I'm a creative person, but the daily thing is like a struggle for me. To
Great.
be like, look at me, I'm showing houses. That's your flipping job.
So be careful you pick up the mic. This is coming from the woman who loves to dance on TikTok. Right? Okay. So,
I'm a goofy, I'm
so
dancer.
do you feel authentic and real when you're doing that?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a great example. I love watching her dance and let loose because that's another side of you, right? So my wife says the same thing. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Who doesn't want to look at you? You're gorgeous, right? So you have to turn it around. I say, who do you follow on social media?
Yeah, it's true.
Who do you follow?
Yeah.
Does everyone here follow someone else's life?
Yeah.
Or you're an anomaly, don't answer. So most of you are following other people, right? So why not you? Listen, reality television isn't real anymore, but the whole premise is people like to watch what other people do. And it comes down to permission. Permission. If Christina goes, she doesn't realize that she's leading and giving somebody in the room or watching her permission to do it herself or himself. It comes down to permission. And unfortunately, we give away that permission externally when we should have it internally. Now, I'm going to give you a trick, though. One of my coaches taught me this. If you don't know what to post, this is the game. It's called What, Why, Lesson, Apply. Okay? What happened? Why does it matter? What's the lesson you got from it? And how do I apply it to my life? So, I don't know, I used to do a thing called Making Sense Common. I thought it was great. I thought it was like a nice pun on words because common sense isn't common anymore, right? So I said, what happened? Okay, I got a really expensive Range Rover washed at a $25 car wash. And this kid, is coming up to me and he's like, I can't get that out. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Give me the rag. And I'm now washing my own car. And it came out. And I give the guy a 10. Italians, we tip well. We tip well. So I'm just frustrated. So I had to drive back to my office, and I got to re-clean my own car. And I'm like, am I out of my mind? I should be paying for a super professional specialist to come to my house and clean it perfectly. It should be set every single week. Right? So what's the lesson? Don't get a $20 car wash for a $125,000 Range Rover. But that's how do you apply it? You apply it to 4 areas of your life. 1, your body. I should be getting nice massages for this body that's worth a lot more than $125,000. I should have a concierge doctor. Right? How do you apply it to business? I'm not going to let scared money hold me back. I am a business. I own a company, Dave Tina Inc. That's the first one. Every one of you are in business. Right? So spend money on it. Not for a crappy $20 business, but a business. Your relationship. You better take your wife on date night, your husband on date night. Right? Don't just date your business, date your life. Right? And then your mindset. You should be meditating. You should be getting therapy. Therapy gets a bad word. You should be training your brain constantly. So I took getting a $20 car wash that I wasn't excited about outside by my car, and I created content.
That's good.
Right? Tell a story. So don't assume that people don't listen. Now, and here I'm going to take the pressure off. I could come in here and go, I want to change and affect and impact every person's life in here. That's overwhelming. If I say I left one of you better than I found you today, then my purpose was served. And then it's not about how many likes, how many views, how many follows. It's about how you showed up. So, great question.
I think all of you are real participating. Dave's going to leave cards up front. Urban Nest.